There's a special kind of burnout that doesn't come from exhaustion. It comes from dependence. You've built a business that works as long as you're there to keep it working. You have good people, reliable systems, and steady growth, but you still can't step away without things slowing down. It's not that your team isn't capable, it's that the business still leans on you for balance. And that's the quiet truth about owner burnout. It doesn't come from the hours you work. It comes from being the stabilizer in a business that should already stand on its own. Welcome to the Budding Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm Randy Bridges, business advisor, consultant, coach, and trusted partner to service-based business owners who are serious about performance, profit, and progress. This podcast exists to do one thing: help you solve the real problems that stall your growth, kill momentum, and burn out the very people who built your business. So let's get started, shall we? All right. We are on episode 223, and today is Wednesday, October 29th, 2025. If that opening sounds familiar, you're probably where I was back in 2008. Proud of what you've built, but worn down by how much it still depends on you. You've built strong systems and trained solid people, but if you stop steering the boat for a week, you're not sure what would happen. Today, we're going to talk about why burnout isn't about effort, it's about dependence. And I'll walk you through how to rebuild trust in your systems and your people so that your business can move forward without you having to push it every day. You'll hear the story of Michael, a business owner who built a thriving firm, only to realize his company couldn't breathe unless he was in the room. His breakthrough might sound a lot like the one you are hoping for. And before we begin, if you're at that point where you've done everything right, but the business still revolves around you, that's exactly what we unpack in my focus strategy session. There's a link to it in the description. Feel free to check it out when this episode wraps up. So let's talk about the real cause of burnout. Most owners think burnout is about just too much work. And this might surprise you, but that's not what it's from. It's about too much weight. When every decision, approval, and correction has to come through you, you're not leading. In fact, you're carrying. And the longer you carry your business, the heavier it's going to get. The irony is you built your systems to make your life easier. But when your business still needs you to keep everything synchronized, those same systems become the source of the strain, of the weight on you. That's not overwork, that's ultimately overdependence. And it's why you can't recharge even when you take time off. To break that cycle, you don't need to disappear. You simply need to re-engineer how trust flows through your company. I call it the trust reinforcement cycle, and it has 3 parts. Number 1 is clarity before confidence. People can't own what they don't understand. You have to define the outcomes, not just your activities. When everyone knows what done looks like, you stop having to double check your progress. Number 2, visibility without vigilance. You don't need to chase updates. Your system should report them to you. We're talking about dashboard, metrics, quick feedback loops that keep you informed without interrupting your flow. If you have to ask people about what's happening, the system's not doing its job. And number 3, empowerment through guardrails. I found out very early that real trust isn't blind. It's bound to you. If you set thresholds for decision making so that your team knows when to act and when to ask, those guardrails will create freedom and safety. When you align these 3 pieces, you stop managing people and start trusting processes. And once your team has that clarity, visibility, and the guardrails, The next step is what I call the System Stewardship Handoff. This is where you move from operator to evaluator. How good are the solutions your team is putting in place? It's how you regain perspective and you get to release the constant oversight that's driving your fatigue. Here's how you do it. Number one, assign system owners. Each process, whether it's sales, delivery, or finance, needs one person responsible for keeping it current and accountable. Unfortunately, a system without a steward quietly erodes in effectiveness and delivery. The second piece is to install feedback dashboards. The dashboards and short reports let you lead with clarity instead of control. And that control is one of the things that will just wipe your energy out and burn you out very quickly, is having to have control over everything. And third, run quarterly reports. Every quarter, review each system with its owner and make sure you have a shadow owner behind them, because people do leave, things happen, and you might need to reassign something to someone who's more efficient. That shadow owner helps out. In either case, you want to ask what's working, what's drifting, and what's improving. You're not maintaining. What you're doing is simply measuring progress. That is, as an owner, one of your key jobs. This is the turning point, because once you install stewardship, trust becomes measurable and burnout loses its grip. Let's see this in action with a real example in our case study. Michael runs a professional service firm. It's profitable, respected, growing, all really good things. But even with strong systems and a capable team, he was still the bottleneck. Every client escalation, every pricing approval, every last-minute call came back to him. His burnout didn't come from the effort. It came from the dependence on him. So when we started working together, I helped him implement that same system stewardship handoff I just shared with you. Here's what happened. Each core process was assigned a clear owner and a shadow owner as a backup. We had to replace one of those initial owners because he was not performing any of the things that needed to happen. Shadow owner took over smoothly. We also added dashboards that reported live progress, and approvals turned into thresholds that empowered the team to act without him. Now, within 6 weeks, Michael cut his meetings by 40%. That was helpful right there. They also improved delivery timelines, and Michael took a long weekend without checking his phone once. Surprising to him, but not to me, nothing fell apart. Michael told me afterward, "I guess I didn't really need more time off. I simply needed to trust what I'd already built." Lesson learned. So let's dig into our self-check. We're going to ask ourselves 3 questions this week instead of 4. Do I have to be present for things to stay on track? Do my systems report automatically, or do I still have to ask? And when I delegate, do I hand off ownership or just the tasks? Frankly, your answers will tell you exactly where trust is missing. Now, if you're realizing your exhaustion isn't from overwork, but from over-reliance, I mentioned a focus strategy session near the top of this episode. In one conversation, we can pinpoint where your clarity, visibility, or guardrails are breaking down, and then design the steps to rebuild your trust in your systems, your team, and yourself as the owner. Check the first line in the video description. In our closing reflection, burnout isn't proof that you're weak. It's proof that you've outgrown your old way of working. The business doesn't need more of your time. It needs more of your trust. When you build that, the pressure lifts, the team can step up, and the company finally becomes what you designed it to be. So as you look at your week ahead, remember, build it smart, run it clean, and stay aligned. That's it for this episode. I hope you picked up some valuable insights and maybe even sparked a few new ideas. If you want to keep the conversation going or maybe even explore partnerships, don't hesitate to reach out. And hey, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. The steps you take today could be the start of something big tomorrow. For the budding entrepreneur, I wish you the best in your health, your wealth, your business, your family, everything about you. Take care, and we'll see you back here next week.